أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن استنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته, brothers. Alhamdulillah, we start by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we send our salam and salawat on Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We'll be doing this series of the life story of the four Imams, the biography of the four Imams. And Alhamdulillah, we finished all the four biographies of Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Malik, Imam Shafi, and Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. And we said that after the discussing the biography, we'll do a quick summary of that what should be our approach to the madhab. Because all these Imams are known because they are the Imam of the four different madhab. So what is madhab means basically, and as a normal Muslim, because none of us, I believe, is a scholar here, or a true seeker of knowledge, as it was Sahaba and other people. We try our best to learn from here and there, but still it's not enough to be call ourselves that a true seeker of knowledge or a student of an Imam. But still, we should know this fact because this is important, that what should be our approach about madhab. So how I intend to do the discussion is that let's start with the definition of madhab. Basically, the definition of madhab is come from the word Arabic word zahaba, and if you know a little bit of Arabic, zahaba means that to go, to go somewhere. Okay, so madhab basically mean a way to go, like which way you should go. So that is why the madhab terms come out. Okay, and now in our Islamic perspective, we understand madhab means that the opinions, okay, of an Imam. So this is the madhab of Imam Abu Hanifa. This is the madhab of Imam Shafi. But in this small definition, we make a mistake. We say the opinions of this Imam, but actually madhab is not a set of opinions. Madhab is a set of usul, or you can call them principle. If madhab was a set of opinions, then in every issue it has four opinions. Okay, so how to do this one? So Imam Abu Hanifa said this, Imam Shafi said this, Imam Malik said this, Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal said this. No, it's not opinions. It's how we derive the opinion from the Quran and Sunnah. What are the principles? And some of us actually, unfortunately, we don't even understand, what is principle means here. Like, is the qaida in simple language, what are the terms, what are the logic you have to use that to get something out of Quran and the Sunnah? Which one you should give preference more? So all these things come into place, and obviously a madhab is not a set of opinions. It is a set of usul or principle adopted by those famous four scholars. But there are other scholars too. They have their own madhab. They have their own way to derive things. But because these four scholars became famous, and they had a lot of followers, a lot of students, throughout the Muslim world, that's why you know them. There are other scholars who had their own madhab, but their groups, the follower of them are very small, and the other madhab has come to the same land and overtaken them. So that's why we don't know about those ones like this. The second thing about to understand madhab, the madhab is not a part of your iman, meaning nobody can say that if you don't have madhab, you don't have iman. It is not an article of faith. Okay, madhab is something that you must understand and you must follow, but it is depends on where are you. So it doesn't mean that one fit will fit everyone, and every person could have different set of opinions depending on where he is from. And we'll see some examples why I'm saying this, because just for a quick rundown, Imam Shafi, when he was in the Hijaz area, in Makkah and Medina and in Iraq, basically, when he flourished his knowledge, when he left Makkah and he left Medina and he went to Egypt, he changed out of his 80 fatwa, he changed 60 of them, just because he changed the location, because he know that this environment is a different environment, and the difference between Iraq and Egypt at that time is nothing in compared to difference between Bangladesh and in Australia now, or Saudi Arabia and America now. It's much different. So imagine if he could change his 60 fatwa out of 80 just because changing the location. So there's a lot more to change, in our time also. So in madhab doesn't mean that you have to follow it. And if someone is not following madhab, if someone says no, I don't know my madhab, I still don't know, or I don't follow it, okay, I'm still learning it, that you cannot say this person is a sinful person. On the other extreme, if someone says no, I only follow the madhab of Imam Abu Hanifa, I don't want to know anything else, I don't want to know even the names of other scholars, I know one scholar, one madhab, that's it. It is also okay for him. Imam Abu Taymiyyah, he said, no, it's both sides is fine. You can have one extreme that someone can say I will only follow one, okay, and someone can say I'm not going to follow anything. But yes, of course, this is the extreme case. This is the extreme case. A good and true Muslim, a seeker of knowledge, should have some more steps involved in this one. The next thing, in discussion of madhab, we should know some terms, and one of the terms is called Ahl Sunnah wal Jama. Ahl Sunnah wal Jama, we hear this term, we always consider ourselves a part of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama, but a very few of us know what does it mean actually, how this label came out. Did Prophet ﷺ told us that we are part of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama? No, we didn't find any hadith like this. Is there any Sahaba said we are part of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama? No, we didn't say any statement from any Sahaba that say Ahl Sunnah wal Jama. So where did this term come from? Is it wrong to say that? No, it's not wrong to say that. Because there are some historical reason that we call ourselves Ahl Sunnah wal Jama. What is the historical reason? It starts from very beginning in the time of Abu Bakr basically, where a group of Muslims, after Prophet ﷺ passed away, they broke away from the faith of Islam, meaning they said we're not going to pay zakah. Their understanding of zakah was that zakah is something like a tribute to a king. So if you have a king in your land and you go to the king, you pay some tribute. If the king passed away, he died, and you wait till another king, so you don't have to pay to that king. If another king comes and he made us mandatory some tribute to him, then we'll pay. So that's how Prophet ﷺ was the king of the Muslim land. So that's why we used to pay zakah to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But then once he's gone, he's not going to pay zakah. They failed to understand that zakah is a pillar of Islam, and that's the first group that broke away from the main Muslim community, and that's why Abu Bakr went and he tried to fight with them, and he did. Initially, a lot of other Sahaba, including Umar ibn al-Khattab, he said, no, they are still Muslim, we should not fight with them. See, even they have difference of opinion in a matter of faith. But Abu Bakr, he is Abu Bakr, and he understood, no. If they used to pay a single thread of zakah at their time, in the time of Rasulullah, they will pay it now also. Because we know that Buniyal Islam ala khamsin, Islam is based on 5 pillars. And they did, and that's called Haddu Ribba. Like this Ridda means they out of the Islam. And not only that time, even in the same time, just after this thing happened, there are other groups of people in the Arab land, in the tribes of Makkah. They used to follow different false prophet came up. Musaylim al-Kazzab, there's a lady prophetess also called Sajah, and there are people from the tribe Tamim, they used to follow her. So there's a lot of group of people who used to follow this false prophet. So they were out of the fold of Islam, because this is not difference of opinion, this is difference in creed. So that's why they are not in the Jama. And slowly there was a bigger group came out, and when it is the time of Ali, Ali and Muawiyah had a conflict, and they both get out of the group of Ali, and they declared both Ali and Muawiyah as disbeliever. They said they made takfir of them. They said both of them are not following the Quran, so they are disbeliever. And that group, as we know, is called the Kharijites, okay, or Khawarij. In Arabic we say Khawarij because they went out the way. They said they are the wrong people, so they declared them disbeliever. Although the people from Ali's side or people from Muawiyah's side, they never said that these people are disbeliever. They never made takfir of them. They never said they are the kafir. All they said Ali is kufr and Muawiyah is kufr, and they tried to kill them because they said it is halal to kill them now. And they tried their effort, and they succeeded in killing Ali radiallahu anhu. This is how Ali was to get killed. But they couldn't do it with Muawiyah. So anyway, Muawiyah, Allah blessed him, and radiallahu anhu, he spread his dynasty from there. So that is another group who went out of the Jama. So to make us separate from them, That, are you with those small group who call themselves, different than other one, or are you in the big group? That's why the word Jama comes. That yes, we are with the Jama, we are Ahlul Jama. And the word Sunnah comes from, obviously, people who follow the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this term came in because of the later group, and actually it came out from the Kharijat groups and from the Kufa, the Shia. This is Shia to Ali. So because they went to two extreme in following the Sunnah and the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they also do some of the Sunnah. Even if you meet a Shia now, you will see there are some of the things they do. But the problem with them, they are not part of the Ahl Sunnah al Jama'ah. Why? Because they don't attribute the Sunnah to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They said it is Rasulullah, then Fatima, Ali, Hassan, Hussein, and they have another 7 or 8 Imam. So the 12 Imam. So they attribute the Sunnah to them. And also, according to them, the Quran that we read is not the real Quran. They have their own Quran that was preserved by Fatima radiallahu anha. That is their opinion. And that Quran that they have has no verse, a single verse, compared to other Quran, the Quran that the whole Muslim majority has. So they are not following the Sunnah, and to distinguish us from themselves, we call us Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. But all these four madhab that we are talking about, they are all part of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, because they all follow. There are no difference in the four madhab in their aqidah, in the article of faith. Everybody believes there are 5 times prayer. They have to pay zakah. You have to do hajj if you have the ability. You have to fast during the Ramadan, and all these things in all four madhab is believing. The next item that we need to know, there are something called akal versus nakal. What does this mean actually? Akal means your reasoning, how you reason things, how you put your logic on things. And we talked about, when we talked about Abu Hanifa, there's a big group in, it's called Ahlul Rai. Ahlul Rai means the people who are people of reasoning. And nakal means text, meaning either Quran or an authentic hadith. Which one you should follow? So it is the opinion of all four madhab that if you have some text that is clear in meaning, and it is clear to understand by anybody, we must follow that text. We shouldn't use our akal. But in our time also, there are a lot of people, they may be a good programmer, a good engineer, a good doctor. And because they're smart in their own field, they think they can put their smartness in the religion. And they put opinion, They say, okay, how come this could be like this? So they use their reasoning. How come Allah created everything in 6 days? How come the day comes in? So all this kind of question they did. But even the Sahaba, they understood that, not everything can be put forth for a reasons. And that's why Ali Radhiyallahu said that if this religion is about all reasoning, then when you do masa on the sock, we should have done on our bottom part, because the bottom part gets more dirtier. Okay, because at that time they used to wear socks of leather. They used to walk on the socks. So obviously the bottom part gets more dirtier. So you should wipe that one. But no, the instruction is to just wipe on the top. So it is not reasoning. Even Aisha Radhiyallahu said, if this religion is all about reasoning, then we would have, when we had our monthly cycle, we would have made up our prayers, because prayer is more important than siyam. But for the ladies, as you all know, when they are in the monthly cycle, they miss the 7 days or 5 days of Ramadan or whatever days they miss in the Ramadan, they don't have to make those up. Okay, sorry, they have to make those up. But for the prayer, they don't have to make it up. When they miss their prayer in monthly, they don't have to make up these five daily prayers they miss for the 7 days. But although we know that 5 daily prayers is much important than Ramadan fasting, and it is easier for them. But this religion is not about reasoning only, and that's why we should believe in and that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. People who believe in the unseen. So an unseen, you cannot reason yourself with the unseen. Yeah, and that's why in akal versus nakal, if you have the text, clear text, and you understand that, then you follow that one. Now the difference of opinion, very quickly, we're going to go some of this difference of opinion. Why this then difference of opinion? If it is that clear, so why you have difference of opinion among our scholar? It could be the scholar didn't know the hadith, and it happened in the time of Umar ibn Khattab, even in the Sahaba's life. Not all Sahaba was memorized all the hadith. This is impossible to think, and we know a lot of examples like this. When there was a plague in Syria in the time of Umar ibn Khattab, he was trying to go to the Syria to see the people because he's the Khalifa. And he was about to get, and some of the Sahaba, they said, what should I do? Should I go there or should I stay in Medina? So they didn't know what to do. So one of the Sahaba said, I heard Prophet ﷺ say that, if there's a plague in some city, if you're inside the city, don't out of the city. If you're outside the city, don't go into that city. And only he heard this from Rasulullah ﷺ. And then when Umar ibn Khattab heard this hadith, he said, then I follow this one. I'm not going to go there. Even in the time when Prophet ﷺ passed away, where they going to bury him? Are they going to take him to the Jannatul Baqi? Are they going to take him to somewhere else, special place? So they were in a conflict. What to do with the blessed body of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And then Abu Bakr came. Then he said, "I heard Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam say." Nobody else knew that. Even Aisha didn't know that. His own wife, Aisha radhiyallahu anha, she knows so many hadiths because she was so close, to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Abu Bakr said, "I heard Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam say, wherever a prophet dies, he must be buried in the same place." All prophets are buried in the same place they passed away. And that's why they decided, because she died in the house of Aisha radhiyallahu anha, so it should be there. So they didn't know the hadith. So, and there's a lot of examples like this. And that's the same thing happened with the scholars, later on, the Imams later on. Maybe they don't know the hadith, so that's why they didn't apply it. The second reason is that they may know the hadith, but they doubt the authenticity of the hadith. So they don't know whether it is authentic or not. And we found all this example in the time of Sahaba also. One day, one of the Sahaba, Abu Musa al-Ashari, he came and he knocked the door of Umar ibn Khattab. 3 times he knocked, and then he left and he keep going to the back. He didn't enter. So Umar came out after the 3rd knock, after a bit later, and said, "Why are you leaving? You can knock me for more." Then Abu Musa said, "No, didn't you know Rasulullah said, if you knock in someone's house and give salam 3 times and nobody responds, then you have to leave." Umar said, "Are you sure you heard from Rasulullah?" So Umar doubted the authenticity of the hadith. He said, "Can you get some other Sahaba to prove this?" So Abu Musa al-Ashari, he went and he was a bit nervous, because Umar instructed him. He was in the Khalifa at that time. So he talked to other Sahaba, and he found 2 or 3 other Sahaba who knew about this hadith. And they came and told about this one. So so we see that even in the time of Sahaba, they doubt the authenticity of the hadith. Because it is from Rasul. It is not possible for everyone to remember every hadith. So that's why they do it. And same thing happened with the scholar. The next difference of opinion, it could be that they forget the hadith. As simple as that. Even our Prophet Muhammad, he forget in Salah. Didn't he forget? And Sahaba also forget a lot of times. There was a funny story, but from the story, we get a big fiqh ruling from that. Umar ibn Khattab and Ammar ibn Yasir, during the time of Prophet Muhammad, they went on a journey. So 2 great Sahaba went on a journey, and they wake up in the morning in the state of Janaba. And for some reason, in their caravan, they have no water to make ghusl at all, okay, and make wudu also. So what they should do now? So what Ammar did, he said, "I have to do tayammum because I am in state of janaba. So only touching the dust is not enough for me." So he rolled his whole body in the sand. Okay, he's just rolling on the sand. And then he come to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he said, "Ya Rasulullah, I prayed. I did tayammum like this way and I prayed." Rasulullah laughed. He said, "Oh, Ammar, you don't have to do this because tayammum is the replacement for wudu and also for ghusl. You don't have to do both." Okay. And Umar later on in his life, when Ammar was giving this fatwa to different people, Umar became a bit angry. He said, "How do you know this? Why are you telling people not to take ghusl, just do tayammum if they don't have water?" So then Ammar reminded him, "Umar, don't you remember we went on a journey and this is what happened, this is what I did?" And Prophet ﷺ said that. Then Umar said, "Oh yes, now I remember." So even people like Umar, they forget. And obviously scholars also, a lot of time they forget, they knew the hadith, but they couldn't present the hadith when they were asked about a issue, about a fatwa or something like this. The next thing is that understand differently, and this is the most common thing, because if there is a hadith, but you understand them differently. And it happened, the great example of this, when Prophet ﷺ told a group of Sahaba to go to Banu Qurayza and pray Asr there. So no one should go Banu Qurayza before Asr. So some of the Sahaba, when they went from the Masjid of Rasulullah to the Banu Qurayza, because Prophet said, nobody pray Asr until they go to Banu Qurayza. and it was Asr time in their way. And in the Asr time, they said, "Oh, should we pray now?" Because Prophet ﷺ said, we should reach there and pray Asr. And some Sahabas said, no, Asr is going down. The time is up. We must pray in this time. So a group pray Asr on that time. Another group say no. Because Prophet ﷺ instructed us to pray Asr in Banu Qurayza, when I reach there, we will pray there. So other group pray there. Now from an usuli perspective, like from in a principal way, the people who prayed on that time is the right people. Why? Because they know that this is a specific rule. The Asr has a specific time. And the statement of Rasulullah is one of maybe. It is just so they follow the principle. They know you must follow the specific one. Before the smaller one, meaning like that is for the one of time. Okay, but Prophet ﷺ understand the other group who didn't pray, who pray in Banu, they understand the instruction in a different way. So that's why he didn't tell anything. He said both are fine. Both are fine. And that's why there's a lot of hadith. There's a hadith about touching the woman. In the ayat of the udu, in Surah Al-Ma'idah, ayah number 6, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if you touch any woman, lam tamassa, then you make udu or you take ghusl, and your udu is broken at that time. But what does the touch mean? A Shafi group in Imam Shafi, he said touch mean touch, literal touch. So that's why if a Shafi, after he make udu, if he touches his wife, just touching his wife, or even his daughter, his udu broken. They don't even make any mahram, non-mahram thing. Okay, but other scholar of the verse, he understand here the touching. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say it means the intimacy between husband and wife. That kind of touch, not the normal touching. And that's why the other mother follow. So that's the understanding, the difference of understanding as they have. The fifth thing is the abrogation, and this is another thing. Abrogation means nask, and nask means some ayah, some hadith being abrogated, and but those hadiths are still in Bukhari. Those hadiths are still in Muslim. So if you read those hadiths and you come to a brother, there's a hadith, how can you not follow in this? Because they don't know this hadith has been abrogated. Like there was a time when Prophet said, if you eat something that is cooked by fire, you must take wudu. Imagine if this is the case. On Friday night, what is going to happen with us? We eat meat here and everybody will be in the wudu doing, continuously. Because that hadith was abrogated later on. Prophet knew this ruling has been taken off. Also, Imam, our Sheikh Yusuf mentioned the other day, there was a time when on the prayer time you can talk. You're allowed to talk, just like you're allowed to talk when you do tawaf. And a Sahaba came, he was in a travel, he came and he saw everybody's praying. And he said, Assalamu alaikum, how many rakah? Nobody's talking to him. He said, why are you not talking to me? Then one person, he sneezes, he said, Yarhamkumullah. He didn't say Alhamdulillah. He's asking, all these things. So, he's going crazy. What's happening? Why did I do something wrong? Why everybody stop talking to me? Then Prophet later on say, no, whoever said that, there's a new rule from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, it is not allowed to talk in the prayer. So, that hadith has been abrogated, that was allowed before. So just like this, there's a lot of other abrogation, and to understand that, this is a whole science of Islam, the abrogation of ayat and abrogation by sunnah also. And the last thing, for difference of opinion, the taqlid versus taklif. Actually, I didn't put any other reason because it's going to be too many reasons for that. Sometimes, the scholars also doubt the authenticity. That's why we have some scholars say this hadith is authentic, this is not authentic. That's another reason. But let's talk about this one, the taqlid and taklif. What is taqlid means? As I mentioned before, that the taqlid basically means if someone follow a madhab blindly, completely blindly, without any evidence. So they don't want to know about the evidence. They're just following it because it's in the book of Abu Hanifa or it's in the book of Imam Malik. And you will find a lot of people like us. So what is the ruling of taqlid? There's a difference of opinion. If a person is in taqlid, blind following, completely without evidence, okay, is it right or wrong? Most of the scholars say it is okay if he's a general Muslim, because they don't want to make takfir of him. They don't want to say no, he's a disbeliever, because most of the thing he's doing is the part of Islam. He's praying. Yes, in the sunnah matters, in the other matters, he's making mistakes. But this kind of person cannot be an imam or a judge or something. Any imam who says, sometimes we in our community we see if a young boy is a hafiz, okay, like, or he just finished his hafiz, sometimes we move them, encourage them to lead the salah. But if you don't know, a lot of scholars discourage this. Why? Because just by knowing the Quran, being a hafiz is not enough to lead a salah. for the main first condition to lead a salah, you must know the fiqh of salah. What happens if that boy make a mistake and he doesn't know anything about Sijda Sahu? Because of him, everybody's prayer will be finished. What if he passes wind in the salah? What is the ruling on that? Should he still continue or should he go back? So a person who know the fiqh of salah, he is the first person to be an imam. Yes, of course, the Quran is another criteria that you need to know, that the person who know the Quran. But the understanding of fiqh is very, very important with the evidence. And talqif mean when you match up with other mazhab. Meaning, you are a Hanafi, okay, meaning you say, okay, I follow Hanafi mazhab, but today you have a situation, you say, today I'm going to follow Hanbali, or tomorrow you're going to follow Maliki. Is it okay to do that? Yes, sometimes it is allowed depending on the situation, but sometimes people take it extreme. They said they only take the easiest fatwa from each madhab and they follow the easiest path. And that is not allowed, because you are actually deceiving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are trying to cheat way of Islam, and that is not obviously allowed. And the last point for today, that what we should do as a general Muslim, that's the main question, whether should we follow a madhab or not. As the scholars say, the first thing that you should do, every Muslim should be a seeker of knowledge. And that's what Prophet said, talabul ilmi faridatun ala kulli muslimin. It is fard on every Muslim to seek knowledge. When you start seeking knowledge, you don't have to set up your goal that you have to be an alim, but at least you have to be the path of seeking knowledge, and that is the way. And when you seek knowledge, then you understand these matters. This is the basic thing. You understand the basic fiqh. You can't say I'm too busy to read things, or to learn something. That is not an excuse. It is a fard on every Muslim to be a seeker of knowledge. Where you're going to end up, that depends on your efforts, your environment, your own situation, your financial, social situation. That's a different thing. But you start your journey as a seeker of knowledge at your very, very early age. You can't just say, okay, because I'm praying 5 times, because I have done Hajj and Umrah, that's why I don't need to know anything else. I don't need to know Quran. I don't need to know about Arabic language. Nothing I don't know. Then means you have stopped your path. That is not allowed at all. The second thing, do not go extreme. As I mentioned before, do not say that if a person is following only thing, he's out of the fold. He's not following the Sunnah. He is Tablighi, he's Jamati, and he's all these things. Do not go in that extreme. On the other way, if someone is trying to find the evidence, you respect that. At least he has some evidence. But sometimes people what do? They, in our time, because our social media is so spread out, Facebook, Viber, WhatsApp, whatever we have, they just copy paste hadith without even knowing why this hadith is coming up. What is the context of this hadith? Where Prophet said that on? One example I like to give you, the famous incident where in a hadith Rasulullah said, if a Jewish or Christian give you salam, you say wa alaikum. It's a clear hadith, authentic hadith. But all the scholars say no, you should say wa alaikum as-salam. Why do they differ? Because the context of that hadith was, at that time the Jewish of Medina, they used to make fun with Rasulullah. They say assalamu alaikum. Assam means that some fitna, some death comes on you. Okay, instead of assalamu alaikum, they used to say it very quickly, assalamu alaikum. Okay, and Prophet understood that, Aisha understood that, and that's why he said, if they say like this, oh Aisha, don't be angry with them, just say wa alaikum, same on you. Okay, but in our time, if a Christian or a Jewish say assalamu alaikum, not assalamu alaikum, you should answer properly. So we should understand where is this hadith coming from. So there's a lot of hadiths like this, especially about hadiths about wives, hadiths about husbands, the family matters. People know the hadith, copy, paste, and send it without even know where this hadith happened. Is it even, how many scholars say this is authentic, how many say not authentic. They just follow the hadith. It is a clear text, we must follow it, and this is how they do it. And the next thing is that stick to, one thing I missed, understand your own level of knowledge. Sometimes we start getting knowledge, we start seeking our knowledge, or we think our knowledge is enough. Now we can start giving fatwa. Okay, we should understand where is our level. Okay, sometimes maybe we being like an imam of a mosque. Okay, or like me, like a backup imam or something like this, and we think that we know a lot, but we always respect the other opinions. You always can make mistakes. And your journey is just started. You haven't finished the journey like the other people do. That's why we went through their life story. That what they did. Imam Shafi'i was a student of 20 years with Imam Malik. Do you have any teacher who has 20 years teach you? Any math teacher? Any soccer teacher? No. None of us, I believe, none of us has a teacher for 20 years in your life. Impossible. But he has teacher, and he is Imam Shafi. Same thing with Imam Ahmad Hanbal. He spent a lot of years with Imam Shafi. And at that time, he didn't give any fatwa. He just learned. Once Imam Shafi left and give him permission with a certification that, I think you are the best in hadith, you are the best in aqidah, and this and this and this. Now you can start your own halakat and everything. That's when he started. And we are nothing in compared to them. 20 years is nothing. But we still start giving fatwa and stick to the majority of the opinion. So when it comes to ikhtilaf, if you don't have access to the scholar, you try to find out the evidence that has majority of opinion. As Prophet ﷺ said, this Allah's hand is on the Jama'ah, meaning the majority, and Rasulullah also said that my ummah will never disagree on a matter that agreed on everyone. Meaning if the majority said so, even if the evidence may be a little bit shaky or something, you go with the majority if you just want to be in the safe side, and knowing your goal. The goal is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to please the Imam. Some of the brothers, unfortunately, they call themselves, they're follower of Imam Abu Hanifa, and they go so extreme in that. They don't want to listen to anything else. No other scholar has come to them. And this happened before. Alhamdulillah, we're in a good time now. Before the two madhab, Imam Abu Hanifa's madhab and Imam Shafi's madhab, Hanafi and Shafi had, if you read books that's written in the 11th century about Hanafi and Shafi, you will say, are these books by scholars? They used to say so many bad things about each other. Even in that case, Hanafi girl and Hanafi boys are not allowed to marry anybody from Shafi. It was in that extreme. Imagine they're Muslim, they're praying in same masjid, but you're not allowed to marry, as if they're non-Muslim. Even we are allowed to marry Christian and Jew, but Hanafi is not allowed to marry Shafi. And that was like this almost 300-400 years. Not only that, even in the Makkah, like we have Maqam and Ibrahim. We know what is Maqam and Ibrahim. There are 4 other Maqams. Maqam of Hanafi, Maqam of Shafi, Maqam of Malik, Maqam of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal. In the 4 corners of Kaaba. 1925, these are all demolished. In 1920, not even 100 years ago. And they used to come, when the azan was given, Hanafi Sheikh used to stand up, everybody followed him at the back. When he finished, the Shafi. So there will be 4 Jama'ah every time. And there are still brothers like this. They will go to Haram because Saudi Arabia follow the Hanbali madhab. That's why their Asr time goes quickly. They pray Asr very quickly, in the early time of the Asr. Some of the brothers even disagree to pray Asr in the Haram. They know that within half an hour they will be out of the Haram. Their group is going out of the Haram. But they're still not going to pray with the Jama'ah. They say, no, the time is not yet, because I'm following Hanafi madhab. Imagine what Imam Abu Hanifa is there, he's going to smack their face, He's going to say, are you crazy? You are in Haram and you're not praying with the Jama'ah. So, there are people like this, they go extreme and, they don't know their goal. The goal is to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and follow the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, because the sunnah is the way to Jannah. When you follow a sunnah, if someone comes with an evidence, an authentic evidence, the brother, if you do this Raful Yadan, for example, it's a sunnah. Yes, if you don't do it, you are not losing anything. But if you do it, you are gaining something. And if the evidence is authentic, if you follow it. But there are extreme people who reject kindly. They say, no, I'm not going to follow this, because I don't believe in this. Because the hadith was collected in after so many years. That is also another extreme, And if you do love sunnah, meaning you love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if you love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah will love you and He will be pleased with you, and He will enter you into the Jannah. So inshallah ta'ala, we'll finish our discussion here. I hope that it's beneficial for everybody. Jazakallahu khairan. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.